State leader leaves for official visits to Chile, Peru, and APEC Economic Leaders Week. Palestinian leader and Donald Trump pledged to work together for peace in Gaza. Teachers in remote areas strive to provide education to children.
Welcome to today's news. My name is Nguyễn Thị and I will be your guide through today's latest update. State President Lương Cường and a high-ranking delegation of Vietnam left Hanoi on the evening of November 8th to pay an official visit to Chile from November 9 to 12 and make an official visit to Peru and attend the 2024 APEC Economic Leaders Week in Lima from November 12 to 16.
The visits are made at the invitations of Chilean President Gabriel Boric Font and Peruvian President Dina Ercilia Boluarte Zagara, respectively. This is the state president Luang Quang's first overseas trips in his new position, with special significance and importance both bilaterally and multilaterally. The visits will contribute to further consolidating the traditional friendship, enhancing political trust, effectively exploiting cooperation potential, promoting Vietnam's relations with Chile and Peru as well as the Latin American region, and strengthening coordination with countries in responding to global challenges. This is also an opportunity for the state president to meet with leaders of APEC member economies, including many comprehensive strategic partners and strategic partners of Vietnam, helping to continuously deepen Vietnam's relations with APEC members.
During a phone call with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has expressed readiness to work towards a just and comprehensive peace in Gaza.
Congratulating Donald Trump on his victory, Palestine's President Mahmoud Abbas expressed readiness to work with re-elected President Donald Trump to achieve a just and comprehensive peace based on international legitimacy. Mahmoud Abbas's office said in a statement. For his part, Mr. Donald Trump stressed that he will work to stop the war, and his readiness to work with President Mahmoud Abbas and the concerned parties in the region and the world to make peace in the region. Mr. Donald Trump defeated his Democratic challenger Vice President Kamala Harris in presidential election. He will be officially inaugurated on January 20th.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban stated ahead of a Friday EU summit that the European Union must reconsider its support for Ukraine following Donald Trump's potential US election victory, emphasizing that Europe cannot bear the financial burden of the war on its own.
The future of Ukraine aid is among major questions facing the EU after Donald Trump's win, with the region struggling to put on a united front and its two biggest powers, Germany, whose government just fell apart, and France, politically weakened. Speaking at an informal EU summit in the Hungarian capital, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban said that the Americans will quit this war. First of all, they will not encourage the war. Europe cannot finance this war alone, along with the United States. The EU and its member countries are among the biggest donors of military and financial aid to Ukraine, and most EU leaders have voiced strong support for continuing on that path.
Coming up next are some updated news.
The Yak-130 military aircraft that went missing after a crash on November 6 has been located in the forested area of Dak Lak province in the Central Highlands, following a two-day search. The aircraft was found around 2:30 p.m. on November 7 in the Yak Don National Park of Ea Sub-District, around 250 kilometers from Phu Cat Airport in Binh Dinh province, where it had taken off for a training session. The aircraft's location is heavily obscured by dense trees, and authorities noted that the surrounding vegetation remained relatively fresh, suggesting that the plane may not have caught fire upon impact. Both pilots, Nguyen Van Sun and Nguyen Hong Quan, were safely rescued about 10 hours later.
Vietnam has 17 universities listed in the Quacquarelli-Simons, QS, Asian University Rankings for 2025. An increase of 2 institutions compared to last year the rankings. Published by QS, a global leader in educational evaluations. Highlight Due Tan University as Vietnam's highest-ranked institution. Holding the 127th position despite dropping 10 places from the previous year. Vietnam National University. Hanoi, 161st. And Vietnam National University. Ho Chi Minh City, 184th, follow. The top 4 positions in the QS Asian rankings remain the same as last year. Led by Peking University, 1st. The University of Hong Kong, 2nd. The National University of Singapore, 3rd. And Nanyang Technological University, 4th.
On the afternoon of November 8th, the Vietnamese futsal team came from behind to win 5-4 against Australia to enter the final match of the 2024 Southeast Asian Championship. The two teams played an open and dramatic match. In the second extra time, Vietnamese player Thin Phat headed the ball back to raise the score to 4-3 for Vietnam. However, Australian players did not give up and got an equalizer from Grant Lynch to make it 4-4. In the last minute, Thin Phat successfully kicked a 10m penalty to help Vietnam enter the final. The other semi-final match will take place on November 8th evening between the hosts Thailand and the Indonesian team. The winners of that match will meet the Vietnamese team in the final on November 10th.
No electricity, no phone signal. The bare necessity of daily life are almost luxury for teachers in remote area. Despite the difficulty because of responsibility and love, hundreds of teachers in Kỳ Sơn remote area still diligently trek through the forest every day to provide education to the highland students.
To go through the distance from the main school to the branch school, the teachers had to travel across the forest and climb slopes with many difficulties and dangers. At 47 years old, teachers Vu Ba Nen and Vu Ba Hua have been living in a remote area for 21 years. Far from home and lacking family affection, the teachers devoted all their hearts to teach 20 children in this remote place.
The village is like my second home. When it rains, it is hard to describe the hardship when we have to go to the village. The students do not have the opportunity to learn Vietnamese language. Now, teaching must use computers and projectors. But there is no electricity here. The hardest thing is no food, no refrigerator.
After class, when the sun gradually sets behind the mountaintop, the teachers in the remote areas feel sadder with their life without relatives, electricity, phone signal, and colleagues to talk to in the cold of the long night.
Overall very sad. Just me and the darkness. Missing my child. I can only cry. Because I can't call him.
Sympathizing and sharing the teachers' difficulties in remote areas is really a necessary task for the education sector. Because accepting the task of standing on the podium in remote, mountainous, border areas means sacrificing one's own life and families to provide education to highland children.
It's time to say goodbye. Thanks for your watching and see you next time.